Today is going to be shocking with the Performance Elite Fox Racing Shocks 2.5 absorbers. Let's dig inside. Hey guys, this is Matt from Offroad Express, and today I want to show you those 2.5 Performance Elite Fox Racing shocks. Those exactly ones are for Ram 1500, 2-3 inch on the front and up to 2 inches of lift on the back. They do come in different applications for different vehicles as well, and the application is still growing. The newest ones are for the Bronco or even for the 2003 up. 4Runner, Toyota 4Runner, so you can actually get pretty nice shocks even for those older vehicles that are still going on the trails at the moment. For the front in this vehicle we actually have coilovers, which is quite obvious, and they do come with the external reservoir. Thanks to the mount, this can be actually put in a nice place because this mount goes on top of the mount of the shock, and it comes with the aluminium clamps, which is a new thing for shocks for probably a year and a half. Before there was a steel bands, and right now they're just aluminium clamps. Pretty nice. This get exposed because it's on top of the shock, and the adjusters are easy to reach, and obviously you can see them if your vehicle's lifted 2-3 inches. You can see a pretty nice sticker, which is quite important, I think. For the back, this comes with a piggyback reservoir, so no hose in here, just a reservoir mounted to the shock. This one goes in this direction actually in this vehicle, but there's obviously, it depends on the application. For the Bronco you get coilovers, for the 4Runner you get things. I think you got the shock in here and the reservoir in the middle, so it really depends on the application, but the actual internals and the working are pretty similar for each of the application. So this is a 2.5 inch diameter shock. It's much larger than a 2.0, much more oil volume, and the piston inside is also much bigger than cheaper shocks, which means less restriction of the oil flow. This kind of sounds silly or funny if you don't know what that means, but it simply means if you're designing a shock, you can design a shock for much wider applications, thanks to the size of the pistons, because there's less restriction in the piston of the oil flow, and then you can restrict it in here on the adjuster because the oil actually goes to the reservoir through the adjuster, and then adjuster actually restricts the oil flow, which means better damping, better adjustability, which means on-road, off-road performance, actually true off-road and on-road performance. This can be a sporty shock, and this can be a true hardcore off-roader. You can actually punish those shocks, and they can be serviced, and they can serve you lifetime. Down to the adjustment, this is a DSC, which means dual speed control, and those adjusters controls low speed damping and high speed damping. No rebound in here. This is usually not needed because those shocks are designed to rebound the weight of the vehicle they are designed to fit. So for example, this one will rebound and dump perfectly on a Ram 1500, and if you want it a little bit harder, if you want to be a little bit more responsive, then you can adjust the high speed and low speed compression. What that means, high speed is usually first few inches of the travel of the shock, which means quite nice and fast movement of the shaft when you're going high speed over smaller bumps, and you want your tires to be planted to the road or to the gravel or whatever you're driving on. And the low speed means the full travel of the shock, usually when you're cornering, when you're braking and you nosedive. turn this knob clockwise, this will make it harder on the low speed, but then on a high speed it can still be really fast. So if you want to go really super fast, cornering with the shock being soft on small bumps, then you can adjust one knob on the other one side and the other knob the other side, and it's going to be still working very well. So you can actually adjust it the way you like it, and I'm pretty sure if you actually going to be using your vehicle off-road, these shocks will be adjusted like all the time. You can actually hear the clicks in here, so you can write down the settings for your favorite trucks, for example. So the shock is made of aluminium. This main body is made of one-piece aluminium. In here it's brushed and hard anodized. That's why the color is gray, it's not black. And thanks to that, it's just not going to be rusting anytime soon. This is probably the hardest layer of anodizing used on the aluminium. Shock reservoir is also 2.5 inch. It's quite large. The knobs are aluminium. You got rubber bush in here and rubber bushes in here as well. In Coilover, you also got eyelet in here, but this is a bearing inside in the shock. And on the bottom, obviously, you just got a clevis in this case, because this is a Ram 1500. The reservoir is also 2.5. It's a little bit larger than the rear one, but that's really down to the application. And also in here, the actual shock body is also aluminium, hard anodized, which means it's just going to be looking good for the years you're going to be using it. If you would like to purchase those shocks, there's links under the movie in the description. The front one, you have to buy it separately, and you got to buy separately the rear one. In some cases, you can actually use a cheaper option with a 2.0 on the back and the 2.5 coilovers on the front. BDS does lifts like that, but you can also opt out for the high-end options like we have in here for the front and rear set. If you look on our website where you're gonna find those shocks for your application, for your vehicle, you're gonna find some more information about the size of the shaft. You can compare it to other shocks, and some information that not everyone will understand. Obviously, if you have any question, you can always ask under the movie or send us an email. But there's one thing that some people keep asking, because Fox is stating those 2.5 shocks have redundant seals. What that actually means is those seals are made to withstand much harsher riding style and environment than the actual shock is designed to. So those seals come from racing application. Those are not racing shocks, those are just shocks for your truck, for your SUV. Obviously you can do some racing on them, but this is not going to be a Baja race shock as you can see on some of the races, but the seals are actually racing one. Those shocks are fully serviceable, rebuildable. You can buy spare parts, you can buy seals, you can rebuild them and make them brand new even after a few years of riding. And this is my favorite thing about those shocks, because you're going to spend a lot of money to get those top notch of the racing shocks in your vehicle. You're going to enjoy them, and you're going to enjoy them again and again and again, and then service them year after year, and probably they're going to last longer than the rest of your truck. So yeah, this is awesome actually. So if you're looking for a shock for your truck that will last you a lifetime and it will do it all, this is the way to go. If you're looking for something else, obviously you have to subscribe, because we're going to be showing you more shocks and explaining what's inside, how they work, and how do they compare, for example, to this. So subscribe, leave a message, leave a comment, and see you next time.